Hi, everybody. I'm Elise another truth here on YouTube. I almost forgot who I was on here. I've had so many interruptions trying to start this, and I even think I have the wrong bird friend with us today. One of those interruptions with the Blue Jays in my community screaming because they need their peanuts, and I had to restock their peanut sheds, which are the bird feeders that we have throughout, and they were screaming for food, letting me know that the rest of the gang wanted some sustenance, and we had to unpack and do that even at this early hour. Now, if you celebrate Independence Day, 4th of July, however you call it, just have a safe one. You take care of yourselves and you look after yourselves. Be safe, be wise, and be careful around fireworks you might light up in your backyard, or if you're consuming alcohol, or you're near a swimming pool, stuff like that. Please be careful. Please take good care of yourselves, okay? All right. Just want to say, and don't come for me, because this is what I do for myself. I don't expect anybody else to follow suit. I have to respect that people are going to make their own decisions, and that's it. I don't celebrate Independence Day. I haven't celebrated it in years, long time, um, and I don't anticipate celebrating it ever again. That is my decision, my choice, my right. I have my reasons for it. I won't get into it. Another thing is, I don't go to see fireworks. Fireworks are triggering for me. They make me sad. The noise unnerves me. I have PTSD, so hearing things that sound like bombs are not something I can handle. I've never been in war. I've never been in the military, nothing like that. But even with a traumatic childhood, those things they're very sensitive to me. I just can't deal with loud bomb sound like noises. I just can't deal with it. So I hate when my community does it every year. I really literally hate it because it disrupts everything's unnerving, the anticipation of it. Um, there was one year that I think it was 2 or 3 years ago, and there wasn't even any public warning, but they had some of the military planes or something fly over Fenway Park, and it comes through my community, and I thought we were being torpedoed. There was no warning, and people said, "Oh, it was great. It was this and that." I'm like, "Where was the news? Where was the news?" It sounded like we were being torpedoed. There was something coming through. I was just waiting for an explosion. I'm not exaggerating. There was no warning about that. And I'm like, why do that to begin with? It's so idiotic, and not give the respect to anybody who might be sensitive. But whatever, you know, I have to work around able-bodied people all the time. It's just one more thing I have to do to protect myself so someone else can have fun. That's how I look at it. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with a little self-preservation. It's just very, like with my PTSD, it sends me into orbit. Luckily, I'm not as hyper vigilant as I used to be in terms of letting different kind of noises trigger me, and the nightmares are certainly less than that. I have fewer nightmares, I should say, fewer terrifying nightmares. Um, so there's that, I guess, and that's a testament to therapy, ongoing treatment, and emotional management as much as I can. All right, so that gloom and doom stuff is out of the way. Um, So as you can imagine, I'm talking about some triggering things. I should have put a trigger warning ahead of time. That I might talk about things that could be potentially upsetting, like talking about mental illness, stuff that Katie Joy does, doxing, harassment, abuse, and things like that. My stuff is mostly unscripted, so I speak right from the top of my head at times. I don't always get it right, but at least I'm honest in my opinions. And I will correct myself when I need to correct myself. Especially if it's pointed out something's wrong, I will address it as respectfully as I can, because being accountable is important. And that's why I'm editing the video that I put out regarding the Google Doc, especially the LB entry, because all of that is horrifying. The LB one was particularly upsetting because of the nature of the violence with that. But a lot of people on here have had their own experience with emotional violence that is well, I think it's all connected to Katie Joy, but for the most part, I don't have any real proof of that. So that's why I say things are my opinion. Um, and I trust that my community will act responsibly and will follow the local mandated reporter laws and the reporting laws in their communities rightfully and respectfully without harassing people and putting people in danger for falsehoods or for revenge. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Your freedom, your time, your effort. Listen, it doesn't do any good for me, because that will make me sad and will piss me off if you ever did anything like that. I will be very angry, and if I find out who you are, I fucking block you. Because I don't tolerate that at all. I will never order people to do things like that to anybody else. And, you know, yeah, that's that. And with all the emotional violence going on, there's no reason for me to perpetuate that. I won't do that in my speech. I can become very emotional and angry, but understand I'm not helpless. I can control those things, and I do control those things. And understand that these are my opinions, and I can get emotional in them. That's it. All right. So, um, yeah, so I'm in the process of editing the Google Doc video, and I plan to kind of continue on with the individual screenshot parts to make sort of a video to talk about different aspects of what Katie has said before her so-called break that she took and supposed visit from law enforcement. I wouldn't be surprised if that was related to her behavior rather than anybody else. But I've been reading what other people have posted. I've done some research on my own about how these kinds of investigations are conducted. And Katie Joy is fucking lying to the public about that. You know, there's no team of people rallying to support her. I'm sure that she has done this nonsense time and time again. You keep crying wolf, so to speak. Why it hasn't impact Katie's freedom at this point, I don't know. Why Katie still continues to pursue her online stuff when it's known to be stolen stuff, toxic stuff, threatening stuff. It, even if YouTube had a whole dossier in front of them full of everything that is proven to be connected to her with reports, lawsuits, whatever, they wouldn't give a shit. You know, you would think that the only thing is that it catches up with her through the proper authorities. I mean, I suppose, you know, even if she were trolling, there's nothing really illegal about being a troll unless it starts affecting people's civil liberties and their rights and stuff like that. And she's crossed the line with that plenty of times. Plenty of times. All the stuff she accused her neighbor of, she's doing that herself in other ways. Trying to silence opponents. She wants to take control of other people's experiences, other people's work, other people's um, own experiences with Katie Joy directly. And I believe in my opinion, Katie Joy is connected to those death threats. I don't know how, but she is connected to those, in my opinion. She is connected to the intimidation practices she employs on here with anything that'll come out to damage her reputation. She's already done damage to her reputation. She's already done that. She's already made it clear that she is an unreliable resource. Now, somebody might use her for nefarious reasons and they won't necessarily care about her reputation, because if she doesn't care, they don't care and they can use her, which I think this is what happened in this Netflix situation. And either Katie's delusional about the existence of that, or she's trying to take her part of it with her. I don't know, but I personally, I think Katie does want to live in infamy. She wants to be known as a troll. She figures if she does that, she'll have some level of immunity from anything. She's so dumb. She's dumb as fuck. She might be manipulative, but she's dumb as fuck. Okay? She's a whole Happy Meal short of a Happy Meal. All right? A rock has more intelligence than Katie Joy does, in my opinion. And rocks have been around for billions of years. So um, they're wiser than her in many respects. Oh boy. Yeah. So I don't know. I watched Nikki's video. Apparently, a supernatural Nikki. She had filed something with her local law enforcement, and apparently somebody went out of their way to cancel that. Now KJ's all about not canceling people, but she's a fucking douchebag liar. Because she is doing canceling. Now this is getting personal. And I do think she's connected to this. Whether she's doing it herself, her sock is doing it, her husband's doing it, or one of her unhinged stands. I'm not saying everybody who follows Katie Joy are unhinged and whatever, because I'm not going to sit there and victim blame people. But anybody who chooses to go forward with that, they're culpable they're culpable. Maybe some people think that this Natalie whoever isn't culpable because of her mental health situation, but the damage is still done. And if Katie Joy's orchestrating that, if it led back to Katie Joy, then why wasn't Katie Joy spoken to about it, charged for anything? I mean, people with disabilities have rights. This is where Katie Joy, she doesn't fucking care about anybody's. She doesn't even care about her own son's civil liberties, his human rights, his disability rights. She doesn't care. She doesn't care what she has to do to get the attention that she gets. She's used him to get things. She's lied about his medical conditions to some extent to get what she wants, in my opinion, from what I've read, from what she has said herself in not so many words. She doesn't care about racial justice. She doesn't care. She's put down a number of creators of color down, assuming that they were stealing stuff from her. Um, I think she went after. I mean, I don't know who's who or what behind these things, but she goes after. She went after Miranda's husband. Sorry, I forgot his name. She went after that relationship and said that it wasn't legitimized. I mean, that's what an enslaved person um, proprietor would have said back then. And Katie's fucking sick in the head, demented, evil, vile, contemptible piece of shit. That shit makes me mad. She trashes the reproductive rights of women of color. Um, she's trashed a woman for her made assumptions about her reproductive life and her reproductive organs, which I think is perverse and disgusting. When she went after Hannah Shin, or who she thought was Hannah Shin, because KJ's a dumbass, dumber than a rock, and a rock is smarter. Rocks have been around a lot longer and know a lot more than she does. Um, and she does that. Going, and I believe she, in my opinion, I don't want to make things worse for Manel Smith or the good Katie or anything like that. I think KJ had a hand in that. She tried to take down um, that GoFundMe, a GoFundMe they had to do because of that behavior, wherever it was coming from. KJ's pissed when no one else will give her the time of day, money, support, nothing. But that that she has harmed, um, people are more empathetic toward them, rightfully so. And people want to help them recover the costs that they already shelled out trying to defend themselves. And Katie Joy wants to make sure everybody has a record. She wants to make sure people are framed. Look what she did to LB, or it's suspected of what she did to LB. And then the other part of it was Katie Joy that was directly connected to it, what she did to her family. Because Katie Joy doesn't respect her own family. She doesn't care about her child or husband or anybody else in her family that she's tried to hurt, set up to get what she wants. She wants things. She doesn't want people. And she looks at people and animals as things. I believe the content creator is the Learner Lawyer. I think the name is Joanna Cochran, but sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly, if I don't have it correctly. But the Learner Lawyer actually showed sort of a clip of Katie Joy trashing the Duggars about their fencing and poor animal treatment. That's a fucking troll from Katie. It's like saying, fuck you, society, look at someone else is doing it. No, it's not even the same realm. Katie Joy was told repeatedly about those dogs jumping over the fence. She did fucking nothing, fuck all about it. She had to keep the dogs in all the time at that point. With all that so-called money, you would think she would have done a level of preparation before bringing special needs dogs into her home and making certain that there was a high enough fence for that. But Katie acts like now she knows about fences when she made her neighbors suffer through an internal nightmare with her behavior. And Katie does neglect her animals. Katie did not anticipate what it would be like to take care of an animal like this. Animals like this. She did nothing, and it was only because of after so many problems that she decided to do it. She's a fucking nitwit. She projects in there. She takes your experiences, she chews it up and spits it out, or she puts it, if it's profitable, she'll put it into her own twisted quilt of other people's experiences. I mean, I think of Silence of the Lambs in many ways when I think of Katie Joy. Long story, you know. Um, she's just she's just disgusting. How she twists and maligns people's lives and experience, steals things from people. She stole practically she stole Suzanne's work. She stole Suzanne's life story or parts of it to make it into her own. How else was she going to tell a story? Because Katie doesn't know anything about the world. She doesn't care about what goes on outside of her own mediocre existence. She has no worldly understanding. Now, a person doesn't necessarily have to travel to understand things. Okay, there are people who understand things through their adventures, speaking with people, getting to know people. No. To her, that ended when she had a child, in her opinion. But she doesn't understand what people go through. And her child had nothing to do with her life changing. She could have had an amazing life this whole time with her child, but her internet issue, her internet addiction, her need to put this crap out, that was crap that was recycled from other people without attribution, without respect for a person's intellectual property. Because it was an easy way for her to make money. It was an easy way for her to get things. And that's what she did. She took things and that she wasn't even entitled to from subscribers and from that church. She joined a church just to collect things. Listen, I'm an atheist. I'm a bona fide atheist. All right? But you just don't go into someone's house. I mean, a house of worship is a house for many people. That's a play. That's a play. Listen, I go to the Old South Church in Boston. Okay? It's near Copley Square. I have gone there for certain events. They accept atheists, all right? They will marry atheists. They'll marry, you know, um, LGBTQIA plus couples, things like that. They will do that. I go there not to listen necessarily to sermons, but they have other events. And I find it uplifting. Sometimes I go there just so I can have a quiet thought to myself. So I can, because it's extremely peaceful. There's a good, um, they serve the public. They take care of unhoused people. Okay? But it's a quiet place where I can rest and collect my thoughts. So I go there. I make no lie of that. I make no bones about that. That's what I do. So I can understand why people would go to church or go to places. Let them do what they want to do. The only problem I think comes with, yeah, I mean, there are concerns about cults. There are concerns about people who act like gods and act like they know it all and have all the answers. Katie's doing that. She's doing that to her own people. Her own people aren't benefiting from her. They're making her money. And none of what she does actually goes to support anybody. She's done nothing to form a coalition to help people, to work with community members, to work with community stakeholders or city stakeholders or town stakeholders to ensure that people have that. Maybe she can't do that, but she's pretending that she does these things. She isn't. It's all empty nonsense. You have to actually do the fucking work. And it's work. It's phone calls, trying to convince people, having meetings. I'm doing it. I understand how difficult it is. I'm not doing it based on cults per se, but right now I'm drafting something where I am trying to think of every single angle with collaboration of people who are a lot smarter than me to come up with something to protect people in our community. It takes work, time, patience. Sometimes there's dissent. Those have to be considered. And we don't just get to pick and choose who is served. You know? Yes, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I am anti-Trump. I have opinions about him. Doesn't mean I'm anti-people. Big difference. Big difference. I won't get too much into that. I do have my opinions about things. I do have my priorities straight for my life, my voting record, my perspectives on things. I'm left wing, but I'm not always in black and white thinking. I'm not a centrist, but I don't have as much black and white thinking. I'm learning things are a lot more complicated than what they are. And I'm learning from the best crew of people who've been doing this for years, who are amazing leaders, amazing supporters of the community. I am very fortunate. But like I said, I'm not the only person involved. But Katie Joy acts like I'm the only person who can do this. And, because Preacher Boy wouldn't comply with her, she went after him in the most horrible, disgusting way possible. Preacher Boy, who actually does things for the community, who actually is instrumental in bringing professionals on and being of service in the way that he does. And she craps on him by lying about him about terrible things. It's the same thing that she did with the Bates couple and their baby and her struggle postpartum. Postpartum is hard because postpartum is also the adjustments made to having a young baby. But Katie Joy doesn't care. She has no care for anybody's reproductive rights. She seems to think that the Bates and Duggars don't have any reproductive rights. Well, they're exercising their own. Just because they have an opinion about it, but they're exercising their own. You can always talk about hypocrisy in a way that makes sense. But what Katie did was just go after a woman far more beautiful than her, who is in the public eye, who is favored in the public eye, who shares her struggles honestly, which a long time ago people in this type of situation couldn't even do that. She wants to thwart anybody's independence and perspective if it doesn't go along with hers. Katie Joy is a miserable sack of shit. And in my opinion, she should be shut down. I don't know. I'm going to shift gears a bit. And I just wanted to state that, KJ, you are not the only person in this world with feelings, with rights, with the freedoms that you yourself take for granted and even abuse. People have a right to talk about what's on their mind. They have a right to share their experiences, even if it doesn't reflect favorably on your morbidly obese ego, even if it affects the way that you so-called do business on YouTube. People shouldn't stay silent because you want to exploit their experiences for profit. Nobody owes you loyalty. Nobody owes you a like, a share, a subscribe. Nobody fucking owes you their allegiance, their silence. Nobody owes you a fucking dime. Nobody I don't know who the hell you think you are, sending out people to do your dirty work, to sign the petitions you want signed, to silence the people you want silenced. No doubt in my mind, you would laugh with that ugly face of yours if somebody died because of something that you told somebody else to do, or you made it difficult for people to ignore your rants and how persecuted you are. Nobody needs to make you the center of their world and of their attention. Nobody should feel like they have to hide, lose their channels, and live in fear because of what you and your minions have done to others. Just who the hell do you think you are? And if you are behind all of this, in one way or another, what gives you the right to interfere in other people's legal processes? If they need to protect their families and bring attention to laws that you're breaking, they have a right to do that. People have a right to live peacefully and happily. Just because you're a miserable loser of a bitch does not give you the right to ruin the lives of others because they respond to the way that you're ruining the lives of others. You owe more than just the lawsuits that you are now entangled with or have been entangled with. You owe the community a sincere apology. You owe time to the state because chances are you've committed some of these crimes, in my opinion. You owe people money for the lawyers that they had to get. They had to scrape up family savings. They had to take time off of work or out of time for their families to defend themselves against any possible connection to you that's causing these problems for them. You owe people for the information that you have stolen from them to build your platform, for the life experiences that you have reappropriated into your own narrative of nonsense. All the false accusations of sexual assault and rape, accusing people of being a part of a cult, all the projection, all the nonsense, all the lying goes back to you. You are the common shitty denominator of all of this. I'm getting fucking sick and tired of it. Your stupid fucking messages to people. The dumb comments that somehow you think I'm going to be affected by. I haven't received any of the death threats. I haven't received that level of blowback yet that I know of. I have not received anything in my socials or emails or anything like that. But I'll tell you, you're just not going to fuck with me. But the messages, or should I say, the comments that I was able to see. All my comments are moderated anyway. Nothing gets published through. That first message was full of nonsense, accusing me of being obsessed and a number of other things. Not serious things, but things that, you can get in trouble for because of what I talk about here, about you. Because I express my opinions. about behavior you yourself had displayed in your own fucking shitty videos. Talking about God is this and that. I don't adhere to any God. I'm an atheist. And I certainly wouldn't adhere to you. You're not a fucking God. You might be perceived as a cult leader, but you're nothing but a low-life, mediocre, bland, white bread, fucking boiled chicken, slop on a plate. That is what your character is. That is what you have presented yourself to be. You have no idea how the real world works. You have no idea what other people are going through. You do not care about women's rights. You do not care about calling out cults. You only call them out. It's something personal with you. It's something very personal. And you are one of YouTube's biggest clock blockers that I've seen. Any ounce of affection, any ounce of respect that men who will not give you the time of day give to other creators, you've made a living hell out of their lives. Look what you did to LB. Look what you've done to Steve McRae, Suzanne, Preacher Boy, the young Bates couple, Renelle Smith, good Katie from Down the Rabbit Hole at bedtime, Supernatural Nikki, among countless others. And whether or not you are entirely directly responsible, or you had people do your dirty work for you, like sign that rotten petition, because we know you didn't fucking sign it yourself to get Robert Chin arrested or in trouble or anything. How would you like it if the community came up with a petition to have you arrested for these crimes? How would you like it if the tables were turned on you? Of course you would think, oh no, it can't happen to me because I'm a mother of a medically fragile child. I'm a princess. I don't deserve anything. You deserve consequences, legal consequences, not abuse, not a harassment, none of those things, but you do deserve legal consequences for your despicable and heinous alleged crimes and bullshit you've put on people since you started on here. Your channel's nothing but a fucking sham. It's a collection of everybody's work that you put together. You stole and put it together, in my opinion. Nothing what you do is original. Nothing what you do comes from a source of intellect, thought, creativity, criticism. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I'm so sick of it from you. But I'm a mature adult. I will not act against the law to go after you. I'm in a position where I can stop this video. And while I have your survivors on my mind, you are not on my mind. But I can still go about my day. I don't need to be making lives. I don't do lives. I don't need to be making 4 or 5 videos and lives a day, calling me obsessed. Are you fucking kidding me? You have nothing I want. You are nothing I want to become. I am my own person. I am my own individual human being. So are the people you were attacking. Because you're the one who's envious. You're the one who wants the stable family. You're the one who wants the stability of support from the community. You're the one who wants their money. You're the one who wants their things. You're the one who wants their life experiences. Well, you can't fucking have them. So get up off your pedestal, you pissant, and fuck off.